Until the 80s, Formula One regulations on engine size kept power down to the 500 horsepower mark of the 1930s. Suddenly, everything changed, and by 1986, racing engine power shot up to nearly 1,500 horsepower, an almost ludicrous amount of power even for a single-seat racing car. And this was the car that did it, the BMW-powered Brabham Formula One car. Mad, mean, and rather dangerous to drive.
Bizarrely, the engine inside that Formula One car started life inside this saloon car.
Driving around in a BMW 1500 Neue Klasse, a 1960s mid-range production car with a top speed of about 90 miles an hour. Who possibly would have thought that there, lurking under the bonnet, was the world's most powerful racing car engine ever? So there it is, the M10 engine. 4 cylinders in a line, offset from the vertical, 1.5 litres, 1499 cc to be precise, producing 80 horsepower at 5,700 RPM. Extraordinary to think that one day a version of this engine would win the Formula One World Championship.
Don't believe me? Have a butcher's at this.
And here, lying on its side, under all that bolt-on development, is our new friend, the 4-pot, 1.5 litre M10 production car engine block. So, how did it happen? Well, since 1966, Formula One rules restricted engine size to 3 litres or 1.5 litres if you used one of these. A turbocharger. A turbocharger is just like a supercharger. Its function is to compress the air that enters the cylinders for more powerful combustion. The difference is that instead of running off the crankshaft, the fan that compresses the air here is driven by another fan here that's connected to the exhaust system. A brilliantly simple concept with a lot of teething troubles.
At the time, no one thought it was possible to turbocharge such a small engine, but BMW proved them wrong with their 2002 Turbo, Europe's first turbocharged production car.
Whoosh, there we go.
With this car, BMW tried to solve the problems that come with a turbocharger, most famously turbo lag.
Because the turbocharger is powered by the pressure of the exhaust gases, it doesn't kick in until quite high up the rev band, in this case 4,500 RPM. So you put your foot down and you accelerate normally, and then when you hit about 4,300 RPM, the turbocharger should come in. And I'm putting my foot down, and here we go. Here we go, 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 go. Bam! Here it comes. Whoosh! A massive boost of power. Quite easy to get caught out by that and spin off the track, and a lot of people did.
After considerable success with the 2002 series on the racetrack, BMW took the seemingly insane step of using the M10 engine block as the basis for a new turbocharged Formula One engine.
Far from redesigning the basic engine block or even casting new ones, BMW deliberately chose old engine blocks, ones that had covered at least 100,000 kilometres. The idea was that all the stresses of the casting process would have been worked out. If a block was going to break, it would have done so already. The strange folklore surrounding this engine also suggests that the blocks were left outside the BMW factory to be weathered by the wind and the rain. It's also suggested that BMW workers would pop round the back and pee on them for good measure. One BMW engineer described them as being like well-hung meat. The blocks, that is, not the workers. When BMW's Formula One engine made its debut in 1982, the turbo lag was still a problem. The car had fantastic power on the straights, but on the slower bends lost out to normally aspirated cars. In one race, a twisty street circuit in Detroit, the team's lead driver, Nelson Piquet, didn't even qualify for the race, and the whole turbo project was almost cancelled.
But exactly 1 week later in Montreal, the electronics all came together and Piquet went from the sidelines to the top step of the podium. Rival Formula One teams with multi-million-pound specialized racing engines just couldn't believe how much power and reliability BMW were getting from a road car engine.
And in 1983, Nelson Piquet in this car became the world champion. The turbo era had arrived. Just like the heyday of the 1930s, for a few dizzy years, the top level of motor racing went power mad. And, in at least one area, sheer power, BMW led the field, producing an incredible 1,350 horsepower during the 1986 qualifying sessions.